All right, now let's turn to the past perfect simple tense. All right, so how is it formed? Well, we form it by adding the verb had, so the past tense form of have, plus the past participle. And of course, the past participle for regular verbs is exactly the same as the past simple form, but for irregular verbs, it could take a number of different forms. So when do we use the past perfect simple? Well, we use it first of all to show that one action in the past took place before another action in the past. So for example, the thieves had gone when the police arrived. So the meaning of this is that the thieves left before the police arrived. So both of these things happened in the past, but one of them, the one that uses the past perfect, happened before the other. Prior to 1990, he had worked for the senator for 10 years. So here we have two things in the past, but not necessarily two actions. So we have the time phrase prior to 1990, and then the verb is in the past perfect. He had worked for the senator for 10 years. A second common use of the past perfect simple is for counterfactual conditionals. In other words, type 3, as they're known in some grammar textbooks. For example, I could have called him if I had had his number. So the past perfect is in the if clause, if I had had his number. The first had is of course the helping verb had, and the second one is the main verb. Now, because had or the verb to have has two meanings, the first meaning is or the first function is the function of an auxiliary or a helping verb, and the second is it's a normal verb, and it has the meaning of possess. So in other words, you're saying if I had possessed his number. A third function of this tense is in reported speech. So if Ahmed were to say the following words, so these are exactly his words: I finished my report on time. And then if you were to report what Ahmed said, so you're reporting to someone what Ahmed had previously said, you would then take the past simple verb that Ahmed originally used in his utterance, and you would do what's called backshift, and you would change the tense from the past simple to the past perfect. So you would say Ahmed said that he had finished his report on time. The past perfect progressive tense. How is it formed? You add the verb had plus been, which is the past participle form of the verb to be, plus the present participle, so the ing form of the verb. We use this tense to show the continuous nature of an action which occurred before another action. So for example, they had been playing baseball before we arrived. She had been working on her paper for over an hour when Jack came home. So just like the present perfect simple and present perfect progressive, often we can use the two interchangeably. So rather than using the past perfect progressive, we could also use the simple form. And we could say, they had played baseball before we arrived, or she had worked on her paper for over an hour when Jack came home. So really the choice between the simple form and the progressive form is a choice of whether or not you want to emphasize the continuous nature of the action. So it's a more nuanced matter, and essentially the meaning is the same. So the difference is more nuanced than is the case with other tenses.